everywhere you turn in the AI world these days. And yeah, for good reason.
Right. Came out of nowhere, kind of shook things up.
Dethroned ChatGPT in the Apple Store even. I bet you've got articles piled up, research papers, maybe even notes about how it's impacting your own work. Am I right?
Probably a safe bet.
So let's dive in, shall we? Deepseek, what's it all about? What's it mean for all of us? That's what we're here to figure out.
It has been a wild few weeks, that's for sure. The thing is, Deepseek, it's not just the tech that's got people talking. It's how they did it. This Chinese AI lab, founded by this hedge fund billionaire, Liam Wenfeng, they just dropped this R1 model, and get this, it's supposed to be as good as OpenAI's GPT-01.
Whoa, hold on. As good as GPT-01.
That's the claim, yeah. But here's the real shocker. They developed it for a fraction of the cost. Like, we're talking $5.58 million for Deepseek versus, what was it, $6 billion that OpenAI poured in?
David versus Goliath much. And the market definitely took notice. January 27th, remember? Market takes a dive. Everyone's wondering if the AI world just got flipped on its head.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a huge shakeup. I think part of DeepSeek's secret sauce is how they went about it. They didn't just gobble up massive data sets like some others.
So not just bigger is better, right?
Right. They focused on smarter algorithms, tighter data sets. That's a big part of why their costs are so low.
Clever. So less data, but better results. It's working for them. Okay, but let's get down to brass tacks here. R1, ChatGPT-01, how are they actually different under the hood?
DeepSeek's R1, it uses this mixture of experts model, MOE for short. Picture a bunch of specialists, each one an expert in something different. Coding, data analysis, translation, you name it. You give it a task, and boom, only the experts needed for that specific job get called up.
Oh, so it's all about efficiency, right? Bringing in the A-team, but only when you need them. That explains why it's so good with those data-heavy tasks, like the coding stuff we've seen.
Exactly. Now, ChatGPT, on the other hand, it's more of a chain of thought kind of model. It uses all its horsepower for every task, analyzing context, language, all that good stuff. Kind of like a chef meticulously going through each step of a recipe.
So DeepSeek's like a surgical strike team, in and out, fast and precise. ChatGPT's more like a master chef carefully crafting the perfect dish.
Yeah, I like that. And these different approaches, well, they lead to different strengths and weaknesses.
Right, like that coding challenge, the longest special path, right. DeepSeek just aced it, used way less memory than anything else out there.
Very impressive. But then you've got ChatGPT, which is great with content creation. I was reading this article where they had both models write a meta title and description for an SEO piece. ChatGPT, so much smoother, less jargon, really polished.
Yeah, I saw that one. But it's important to remember both of these models, as smart as they are, they can get things wrong, even when they sound totally sure of themselves.
That's a key point. Doesn't matter how fancy the AI, you got to be able to double check. Think for yourself. But okay, moving on. One of the biggest things about DeepSeek is that it's open source.
Now, this is where things get interesting. Developers can tweak it, modify it, even share it. Totally different from ChatGPT, which is locked down tight. Could lead to a whole lot of innovation.
Maybe, yeah. The open source thing, there are definitely arguments on both sides. On the one hand, it's all about collaboration, developers tailoring the model to their needs, making it better, faster. But then you've got security.
Oh, right. The ClickHouse database leak. That was a bit of a red flag. Exposed some user data, reminded everyone that open source doesn't mean you can skip on security.
For sure. And then there's the censorship issue. DeepSeek being based in China, well, there are certain topics that are just off limits. Raises questions about how geopolitics might shape the future of AI,
It's a lot to unpack, isn't it? But hey, let's bring it back to our listeners. What's the bottom line here? DeepSeek, ChatGPT, what does it all mean for them?
Well, now that we've got a handle on what makes these two tick, how about we explore what that means for your day-to-day? Yeah, so whether you're a developer, a content creator, or a researcher, both DeepSeek and ChatGPT bring something to the table. It all comes down to, well, what are you trying to do? What's important to you?
Let's start with the developers listening in. DeepSeek, this seems like it could be a pretty big deal, right?
I'd say so, yeah. Especially for coding, data analysis, anything technical, really. It's fast. And being open source, you can tweak it to your heart's content. Can't do that with ChatGPT.
True, but can't forget about that ClickHouse leak. Kind of makes you think twice about security,
Definitely something to keep in mind. Open source is great for collaboration, but you can't just assume it's secure. Got to be proactive.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. What about content creators? Lots of folks out there probably wondering if DeepSeek's going to replace ChatGPT for writing, blogs, posts, that sort of thing.
Well, for that really human touch, that engaging, nuanced content, ChatGPT still has the edge, I think. Remember those mega title and description examples?
Yeah, ChatGPT's output was just smoother.
Exactly. It's got that knack for storytelling, understanding how language really works. Plus, they've got Sora now, right? Text to video. That's a whole other level.
Game changer, for sure. And let's not forget, ChatGPT just made it even cheaper, $10 a month for new users. Might be tempting for some folks. All right, what about researchers? This one feels a bit trickier, doesn't it? Depends what you're researching, I guess.
Absolutely. One of the articles we looked at talked about how Deepseek really shines in specific areas. Finance, healthcare, stuff like that. Gets deep in the weeds because of that mixture of experts thing. But there's a catch.
Oh, what's that?
Real-time data. Deepseek doesn't do it. If your research needs up-to-the-minute info, that could be a problem.
Makes sense. So maybe ChatGPT is the way to go there. Wider knowledge base, pulls from more sources. Although you always have to watch out for those hallucinations, right? Make sure it's not making stuff up.
Couldn't agree more. Fact-checking, critical thinking, that's key with any AI. Can't just take it all at face value.
Oh, researchers out there gotta think about what's important, right? Accuracy, real-time data, budget, even things like censorship bias. Lots to consider.
And don't be afraid to be a little skeptical. These are powerful tools, but they need guidance. Speaking of DeepSeek and its potential to, well, disrupt things, it makes you wonder about the bigger picture, the future of AI development.
Yeah, like where's all this going? DeepSeek's open source. It's almost like a philosophical challenge to how AI has been done so far.
It is, isn't it? For a long time, it's been a few big players calling the shots. DeepSeek's doing things differently. Makes you think, what if this becomes the norm?
Right. What if open source takes over, AI tools being built by a whole community, not just a handful of companies?
It's kind of like what happened with software, but potentially even bigger. We're talking about artificial intelligence here. This stuff's going to touch every part of our lives. So if it becomes more decentralized, more accessible, what does that mean for innovation, for control, for everything?
Whoa. Okay, now my brain's starting to hurt a little. We're getting into some deep stuff here. All right, so DeepSeek's open source AI and a whole bunch of big questions. Where do we even start?
Well, I think it goes beyond just tech. It's like DeepSeek's poking at how we think about AI, who controls it, all of that.
So not just a tech revolution, a philosophy revolution too.
Exactly. For years, it's been the big guys, the giants running the show. DeepSeek saying, hey, what if we did things differently?
Is that walled garden approach. DeepSeek's definitely pushing against that. But what happens if open source actually wins? What does that world look like?
Think about it. AI tools built by a global community, customized, constantly evolving.
It's like the open source movement, but on a whole other scale.
Because this isn't just software, right? This is artificial intelligence. This is going to change, well, everything. So if control shifts, if it's not just a few companies calling the shots, what does that mean for innovation? Who gets access? All those questions.
I have to admit, it's a little scary too. We've seen what can happen with open source, security issues, people using it for the wrong reasons.
Right. We can't just ignore that. No matter who's building AI, we need rules, safety measures, and we need to keep talking about the risks, the benefits, all of it.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we use it, the guardrails, the ethics.
Exactly. Transparency, collaboration, that's what we need in the AI world. And everyone's got a role to play, not just the developers. We all need to be informed, engaged. This is our future we're talking about.
Right. It's not just some abstract thing. This is about the kind of world we want to build.
DeepSeek's opened up this whole can of worms, hasn't it? Challenges, opportunities, questions we don't even have answers to yet.
Yeah, no easy answers, but that's what makes it so exciting, right? We're right on the edge of something huge. It's up to all of us to figure out how to do it right.
The journey's just getting started. Can't wait to see where it goes.
Me too. Well, that's about it for our deep dive into DeepSeek and the future of AI. Lots to think about.
Absolutely. And remember, the learning never stops. Keep exploring, keep asking questions.
Because with AI, things are changing every day. That's it for the deep dive. We'll catch you next time. Plus CAE.